Good morning, adventurers. It is time for land, not another sea day. Let's go on to Ponta Delgada in the Azores. Let's go. We have the bridge view cam on this morning, and as you can see, we can finally see land. It is unfortunately raining, and the captain did say we were going to get rain on this day, and we don't have coats, and we're going on a port adventure, so this may be fun. So this is our chosen port adventure for the day. It has cost us $49 each, and all of the information you need is in the Cruise Line Navigator app. And the information to start us off is we need to meet at Enchanted Garden midship for 8 AM. Our room service breakfast did arrive very timely. We chose 6:30 to 7 and it turned up about 25 to 7. So good opportunity to get breakfast in your room before you head off on those port adventures. The pilot is coming to join us to bring the ship into port, so we should be heading in very, very shortly. We have made it to the port. I hope we're not going to get boarded by this pirate ship. It makes a nice change to see things other than whales and dolphins, although I did enjoy that as well. It turns out it was 30 quid, not 30 million, but 30 quid's 30 quid, hey? So here at Ponta Delgada, the ashore time is 8 AM and the aboard time is 3 PM. First impressions are good. Looks a very nice place. It gives me Tenerife vibes. I don't know why, but it just does. So after 35 minutes of chilling in Enchanted Garden, our group has been called. We're going to go and board the bus. And we have made it onto dry land. Our chariot awaits. Let's go get on board.
Important person today. So we're set to go, ready to start our tour here in São Miguel Island and see the little bit of the north coast, some villages. If you look back, you can also see a little bit, just a little bit of the south coast. This is interesting because it is the narrowest part of the island. Delgada gets its water from. You may have seen some little constructions, some little towers along the way. There also, because there was a mountain going up. Another, we don't know exactly, maybe could be 4,000 feet high. Different tones of green. Not 50 shades of grey, but two shades of green. We'll be stopping soon. Natural division, so it's only one lake. Look, I know it looks like two, but it's only one. And you also see the village down there. So we're about to stop, and just before we get there, we'll be stopping at a place where you see some ruins. Normally there's a lot of curiosity about that, but what's that and so on. That was actually a hotel built by a French corporation in the late 80s.
After a 40-minute bus ride there, we've ended up at Vista, which is also known as the King's View.
Hold on.
So the ruins found here are from a 1980s hotel, which only lasted 2 years before going bust. It's been recently bought out by a Chinese company to reopen. So although known as the Twin Lakes, it is actually only one lake. The green colour is due to the reflection of the trees surrounding, and it is split by a bridge in the middle.
Oh, you came prepared. You've got your camera. Yeah, talk about you. I mean, but then like that would.
So of course Sam has found the gift shop. So that's where she is off. So there are normally toilets up at this stop, however they are closed for refurbishment currently. But the site that we've come to see is just a small part of the overall landscape here. I will show you this board over here in a second, some of the bits you can see on this large circular route. So in total, there's 15 tourist visitation spots according to this, but sort of viewpoints, including the aqueduct, not the aqueduct, that's on the ship, the aqueduct that we saw earlier, and various different viewpoints around the lakes. The site itself was formed due to the collapse of a volcano where it fell in on itself. So sort of the ridge you can see around the edge was part of that. And then this is the interior of what was the volcano, which apparently collapsed 30,000 years ago. So here's the other side of the hotel, which has begun to become nature again.
On our right, we still see this area, Sete Cidades. So the St. James Lake or Santiago Lake is located right here on your left. But we were just considering that because really need restroom, I've heard. So we'll just go down first for the restroom stop, and when returning, then power will stop. And they sank into their own tears in night. But they're ghosts, just moved on and rose up to heaven to be together.
So we are currently at stop number 3. We skipped number 2 momentarily. So this is the bottom of Crater Lake, and this is where the restrooms are. So that's the reason we've switched around, because a couple of the people needed to stop for the toilet. So more than happy to stop for a toilet break at any point, to be fair. And it's just begun to rain. So we didn't prepare for rain at all on this trip, so we've got no coats or anything, but we will make do. So here we are at the base of the... something jumping around in the water, right on the edge. Huge fish. So up there on the hillside is where the journey started, so that's the abandoned hotel. We are going to view another lake, which is over in that direction, called Santiago Lake. That should be stop number 2, and where we are now should be stop number 3, but we switched them around. But here we are, look at this place. So most of the locals around here live next to the sea, but there are some that live in this small village, and they've created some opportunities for themselves. So there's a small cafe here, and also some excursions on things like mopeds, bikes, canoes. So obviously canoes out on the Crater Lake there. So yeah, it's a good little stop, this is. And if you wanted to do something on your own accord, right next to the port there was car rental available, so you could do car rental and bring yourself down this way to do some activities out on Crater Lake.
Like St. James or Santiago Lake, we will be seeing in 7 minutes.
And here's lake number 2, Santiago Lake.
when you're down, I don't think it's so bad. It's pretty well.
So as we're going along, we are getting narration by one of the tour guides in terms of the area. Obviously, we're not putting loads of footage of that sort of stuff in because unless you're seeing it, it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. But these areas are absolutely stunning. This island is stunning. Now, we'll go into a little bit more detail about the port adventures and how quickly stuff got booked up a little bit later on, but this was one of the only things left available for us to book inside sort of the Disney options. You can book with third parties, but if you're late getting back to the ship, it may leave you behind, whereas if you are on a Disney excursion, if it's late, they'll wait.
About 1/3 of our visitors come from Portugal, so they're domestic. Leaving to bed.
Our penultimate stop brings us here to a former private but now public botanical garden.
Isn't it? I'm getting
So this is actually a rather tall tree. So belongs to the oldest, not the oldest, but the tallest tree in the garden. It's a pine tree from Norfolk Island.
So we're now just heading off into a crater. The crater was created by a volcanic eruption about 2 miles towards the centre of the island, and it ran all the way down to the sea, and it created this crater with the tunnel that you can see down there.
My wife is convinced I'm going to die down here. So. Oh, yeah,
That's how well sitting here watching chickens.
It's actually quite cool here, and there are more things to see than just plants. So we've seen a couple of animals and things, and if you have got children with you doing this trip, there is a nice big play area on that side if they're not too interested in looking at plants. So we've only got around about half an hour here. Sort of spent about 10 minutes with the guide, and now we've just broken off into our own little groups and having a walk around. So this used to be a private collection, opened up to the public. Yeah, it's a nice thing to do. It beats not doing anything and walking around the sort of shopping area. So we're really glad that we have decided to do this trip. So one of the things we did find with the port adventures for this trip, lots had been picked over by the time we'd got our opportunity to book. So we are Silver Castaway Club members, and there seems to be a lot of seasoned cruisers on this trip that are Gold, Platinum, Pearl, that did have the opportunity to book things before we did. This was one of the only things left for this day here at our first port stop. So we booked it, and actually, it's quite enjoyable. It wasn't the most expensive. It's got us out and about. We've seen some things that we wouldn't have seen if we'd not have done it. But yeah, just be mindful that because of the way the levels work, there's an opportunity that you will miss out on stuff you potentially want to do. You can book through a third party, but there's always a risk associated with that. So now we've broken off into sort of separate groups. We're just exploring. There's loads to look at, loads to see. And the rooster's still shouting away. So out of the 5 stops we're making on this excursion, this one, in my opinion, before we came, was going to be my least favourite. And I've actually really enjoyed it. Definitely loads to look at, and it's nice to just be in nature. We've obviously been on a massive ship, man-made, all the works that go with that, and then you come to the opposite extreme of something that's just natural. I know it's been put together, but it's all nature. So the plants and things in here are a mix of natural and items that have been brought in from all around the world. So there's plants from China, Austria, America, Australia, all over the place. And a lot of them have little placards to tell you what they are, where they've come from. So that's it, our time at the Botanical I got put off then by the pigeon flying in front of me. The Botanical Garden is now over. So interestingly, this sort of stately home that used to own this land has all been redeveloped into the stuff you can see in front. So next up and final stop on this tour is the Pineapple Plantation. The Pineapple Plantation is a 20-minute drive from here, and then from the Pineapple Plantation back to the ship is another 20 minutes. So in total, well, we're going to get back to the ship around about 1 o'clock, which means in total it's about a 4-hour excursion off the ship. Our final stop, the Pineapple Plantation. So there are restrooms here, there is a cafe, and some areas where they're going to be serving some pineapple and some pineapple made into liquor. So due to pressures from abroad where labour costs are cheaper, this is a dying trade here in the Azores. But the guy with the idea for the greenhouses was the owner of the mansion that owned the Botanical Gardens. So each of the greenhouses are currently in a different sort of state. Some of them have doors closed to bring the temperature up, where the fruit isn't ready yet, and some are open to allow air in and air out, and then some are open for you to actually go in and have a look around.
Oh yeah, look, you can see it. You can see it, look.
18 months.
It's 18 months for them to go.
So this one is open, there's no fruit in here at the moment, but it is so humid inside this one. Whew. So here's a very posh shop.
We have here in our shop everything 20 to 50% off.
So this is the bar area, and the samples. Not my sort of thing, but the plantation, there's some private gardens which look as beautiful as the botanical gardens we were just in. So at the end there is a cafe if you need any more food. At the moment we don't, because we've ate like pigs for the last 6 sea days. So yeah, we're going to skip by. So we have just made a couple of purchases from the shop, local business. I think it's the right thing to do. Look, we spent 15 euros. It wasn't the most amount of money they'll ever take, but it's something. So the one thing that I've enjoyed about this excursion, and this is going to sound really strange, you don't stay in the same location for too long. The most amount of time has been half an hour, and it's been between 20 and 30 minutes per location. So you get the scenic tours, 30-minute drives between places, and then 20 to 30 minutes at each location. It works really, really well for us. So a little bit of a whistle-stop tour. This whole journey started off with a whistle-stop tour at Animal Kingdom Lodge. We're now doing whistle-stop tours in Europe. So yeah, definitely something worthwhile booking. Like I say, it was $49, so it was relatively cheap, and we've seen bits of the island we wouldn't have got to see.
Wanted to emigrate, they would just go to the boats. The one with the cabin, small ones are just European countries.
And we made it back. We're going to head down to the downtown area now, because there's a supermarket opposite the port. Going to grab some supplies for the ship and then have a look around the area generally. We've got no specific locations we want to go to, and then we're going to reboard the Disney Fantasy. It seems strange seeing the Disney Fantasy like this, because when we boarded at Port Canaveral, we just kind of went straight to the boarding level, straight in. Didn't really see the ship after we took our massive detour around the port itself. But the shopping we want is this way, so that's the way we're going to go. It's dead straightforward, it's all signposted, follow the signs for downtown. We've kind of just drove through it as we came back, so we got an idea of where we needed to go. But yeah, we're just going to follow the signs. So we have secured a bag of shopping. We're just heading back to the ship now, and there's a large queue to get back through customs and security before we get back on. And we've made it back to our floating home. We're going to try and catch Cabanas. It finishes in about 20 minutes, so hopefully we'll be able to get up and get some dinner. It's very quiet on board. Royal Court's still open. There's hardly anybody in. Everybody's in Burger King just next to the port, that's why. The Disney Fantasy is just playing her tunes as we power up, ready to leave port. So guys, after today's port adventure, it's been a bit of a chilled out day. We've watched Cars 3, we've done some dolphin spotting, no whales today, but we've seen a few dolphins. And now we're heading down in towards the atrium to go and meet some more characters. So the characters have their European attire on. I think I really want to meet Goofy. We'll show you why in a minute. The waters around the Azores definitely have lots of activity. Keep your eyes open if you do come on this journey. So I'm currently on Wildlife Watch whilst we're in the queue for Minnie. Quite a few dolphins knocking about, which is nice. So just stood out on deck 4, having a look. Tonight's meet and greet session was all started by a mouse.
I haven't been to that. I know it's good. Alrighty.
Alright, come on in first. I'll put a lovely shirt from the Nike. I know, Simba. Did we get the outside? You're joining us well?
Thank you. Can I have one on my own? Thank you. Thank you very much. So the atrium entertainment has begun. And we've just joined the queue for Donald because it is relatively short. Our second meet and greet of the evening is Donald Duck.
Just give them the eyes. Amazing. Gorgeous. Yes, give it to the camera. Work it, work it.
So the other greet that's on at the moment is Pluto. We're not going to do that one. We're going to hang around for Goofy in this line. So there's been a character change. Chip and Dale are now out. Minnie is out meeting on the balcony, and Goofy comes out in just a moment. The atrium's buzzing now. Everybody's coming out to lunch. The music's on. What a place to be. Here's the best outfit of the trip so far, and Goofy's wearing it. So that meet and greet session doesn't fit with late dining. Late dining starts at 8:15 and so did that. But here we are. We are heading down to Animator's Palette. Let's see what's on the menu this evening. And here we are. We made it to the best seat in the house. Okay, Animator's Palette. As you know, we don't do menus, but have a look, hit pause. What would you choose? Let me know in the comments.
I'm gonna call him to come and see. We saw those
You signed up for it. Yeah. 4 hours for me is a good time.
Oh, God.
4 hours. I feel myself great.
But do you sleep more when you're back home on vacation?
Unfortunately,
Okay, to start, I'm going to go for the Argentina empanadas. And then I think I'm going to go for an Indian prawn curry. Or maybe the chicken breast, the Kiev. What would you go for out of those? Okay guys, tonight we're going for the chicken breast Kiev. That was a recommendation by our server Samet. So that's what we're going to go for. And I don't fancy another steak-based meal. The empanadas have arrived. These look like the very first meal we had in this restaurant. If you remember right the way back to day one of the cruise. So the chicken Kiev has arrived. That was a massive shame. Really, really dry and not very garlicky. We're going to leave that one and move on to pudding. Sam had the same tonight and we're both leaving it, unfortunately. First did not finish of the cruise. Right, okay, here it is. Tonight's dessert menu. Interesting. Maybe the strawberry cheesecake tonight, because I'm not sure that's taken my fancy, and none of them are. Okay, we're going for the sundae. We're going to try it. Final plans for the night. Sam's pointing stuff out on the menu to make me laugh. Yeah. So, final plans for tonight. The two characters, Minnie Mouse and Pluto. Both start at 10 o'clock. We're going to go to Minnie first, and then we should, in theory, get round for Pluto. But if we see Minnie and not Pluto, I'm not too bothered. So yeah, that's the kind of evening plan after we have our desserts. Character meet, which is happening before the one with Minnie and Pluto, is Chip and Dale, Donald and Mickey Mouse. So we've already done Donald and Mickey, and we're not too fussed about Chip and Dale because they've only got their chef's hats on. So we're going to go for these two. Sorry guys, I forgot about you. The Sunday's half gone. So we are now out of the dining room, and there has been a squad rotation. So we've got Donald up on the balcony, we've got Mickey in front of the staircase, and Chip and Dale in front of in the vestibule. So the queue for Minnie hasn't started yet. This is still Mickey. We're going to join the Minnie queue when it opens. Our final meet and greet of the evening.
Right there, next
Hey.
up.
Towel animal is a rabbit, and more chocolates. The biggest downside to doing the transatlantic this way, we have another time change tonight, and there's one more at the end of the trip. What a day today turned out to be. I wasn't really that fussed about booking a last minute port adventure, and Sam sort of said, come on, let's do it. And I'm really glad we did. Some of the scenery we saw, you wouldn't have seen it. You wouldn't have been able to get far enough away from the port unless you took taxis or public buses to see the things we saw today. Absolutely stunning scenery. Would definitely do it again. And it was interesting to go and see the pineapple plantation and the Botanical Garden. So would I do it again? Yes, definitely. Tomorrow, you guessed it, it's another sea day. So we do have a 7-character meet photo to do tomorrow. That's early in the morning, so we're going to get up, have breakfast and go and do the 7-character meet. Today's been a really good day. We've seen lots of wildlife and it was nice to get off the ship. It's also nice to be back on it, moving across to Lisbon, but I'm really happy with this cruise so far. I would definitely do a transatlantic again. I was talking to a lovely couple from the UK in the queue for one of the characters earlier, and they were saying that they prefer the westbound because you get an hour added on multiple times throughout your trip, so it extends your trip out. So we may consider that one next time. Right, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow for a sea day on the next adventure.